What's up, guys? Thank you so much for joining me on this channel. If you are new on my channel, make sure you guys subscribe as always. And if you are listening on podcast, make sure you guys subscribe and rate my podcast. It helps me tremendously. Today I have a really great testimony. My friend I met here about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. And it's been a crazy experience to see like what God is doing in his life, and he has an amazing testimony. So I thought maybe I should give you guys the same kind of like, same opportunity to hear his testimony out. So Pasha, like tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, where'd you live before?
I live in the Renton area right now, but I moved up from Bellingham. That's where my family lived, and I moved up here to pursue my ministries and all my.
Awesome. So for a season in your life, you pursued modeling, and actually you became a model. Mm-hmm. So how did that come about? Did you just kind of decide one day that I want to be a model?
Well, honestly, no. It didn't just like come to be. Like I was working at Dairy Queen when I was 16. And I had people randomly always coming up to me and saying, hey, you're a good looking guy. You should try to get into the modeling industry, become a model. And I kind of thought of it as a joke for a little bit, but then people kept saying that, and I started to really think about it. So my sister actually got me into it. She started looking up agencies in the Seattle area, and she found one, and I went in for an interview, and that's where things just kind of started taking off.
So then what happened after that? You got signed up with this agency, right? And then
so I got signed up with this agency, and at first I thought, I don't know, this is all sketchy. You hear a lot about all these fake agencies out there. Just want to make some quick bucks off of you. But no, they, what they told me, they really followed through, and they sent me to a competition in New York where I got to meet with all of the top agencies from all around the world, and that's where I kind of got discovered, got my name out there a little bit, and I started to work.
Yeah, so then you went to Thailand, as far as I understand, for a season there?
Yeah, first after New York, I moved straight to Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And I started to kind of build my portfolio a little bit, started to work there, do some shoots. And then I moved to Thailand. I had an opportunity to go there and work for a couple months. So, yeah.
That's crazy, man. I look at your testimony, and then let me ask you this first, though. What did you like about modeling?
What did I like? I loved the work itself. I loved the fashion shows. I really loved to just do put on an outfit and just go walk, and there's so much people, and I don't know, something about big crowds of people is just kind of for me, it's like adrenaline rush that I really liked. And just doing campaigns and working with multiple photographers, it was very, it was interesting, just learning a lot of new things.
Yeah. That's cool, but did you actually make any money?
Me?
Do models make money?
Models, they do, but at different stages. If you're a beginner, first 2 years, you're probably working for free. You might be making some money, but once you're more known into the industry, you have some experience, you have a portfolio. Then once you start booking some bigger high-end jobs, you can start making some good money. Yeah.
Yeah, but then there's a sinister side to the modeling industry, right? What did you not like about modeling?
What did I not like? I think the lifestyle that it carried with itself, because it's very corrupt. You're just always going to parties, and just when you live amongst those people, there's nowhere else to go but to hang out with those people. Especially when you're on the other side of the world. You're not just gonna go find some friends, random people to spend time with. You're gonna hang out with those people that you live, and the kind of life they bring with them it's very not healthy.
Yeah. So you're in this kind of lifestyle of modeling, and then one day you decide that you don't want to do this anymore. What got you to that point? Was there a specific event? Was it something that you just kind of came to after thinking for a long time, or?
Yeah, I think it was over time, definitely. It was just a buildup of events. When I moved to LA, I made a lot of rich friends, and I just started to see the kind of life they lived. They have all this money, they have influence, but they're really not happy. Like one of my friends, he
Yeah.
would buy $100,000 watch, and then to like show off to all his other friends, and then a couple of days goes by, and no one really cares because having money is not that big a deal.
Yeah.
So they always have this emptiness that they're trying to fill in their heart, and they can't. So for me, just looking at all these rich people that are truly just, they're very insecure. They try to make money,
Yeah.
fill that void of emptiness inside of them, and it doesn't. So it just started to come to a realization throughout the months, seeing the rich and famous, and seeing how broken they actually are, and then myself too, like I started reaching these levels of success. Like I want to be in this magazine, I want to be on this billboard, and once you start, reaching that, you see that it just leaves you empty. Like, man, I thought there was more to this. When people up there asking you for autographs, you think this person, on billboards, walking fashion shows around, different countries, you think he'll be happy, but I was so miserable, and that's one thing I just started to realize. Like, wow, man, like the fame, the money, all that, it doesn't really bring you any joy. And, I just started seeing that. It was really sad.
So to me, I think what I was taken back, a lot of people, especially if you're a Christian, if you grew up a Christian, you feel like, oh, I'll go into acting, I'll go into modeling to impact the industry. But it seems like you don't really believe that you can actually be a Christian and be a model. Why do you think that?
Honestly, this is from personal experience, what I see, because the fashion industry, it is pointed, the whole direct of it is to sell sex. So like when I'm being photo shoots, there'd be like, try to be sexy, try to be seductive. And so it's very hard when people ask, why don't you go back into the industry, to go just, spread the gospel to those people. And I mean, it is good to go and preach that, but to be involved in the industry, it's like saying you can't, you cannot do half-naked photo shoots and seduct half the world and then go preach the gospel to people. It doesn't work like that.
I don't know, man. I never really thought about that, but I think that's such a like cold, hard truth, that you can be trying to seduce people and have people lust after you while you're trying to preach to them. Like, anyway, like I think that's such a good point. So after you kind of came to this, I guess, point in your life where you realized that, like, what happened at that point? Did you just kind of decided that, hey, I'm not doing this anymore? Like, what happened?
It's interesting how it actually happened. I was in my hotel room in Thailand, and I just got on my knees and I'm like, God, I can't do this, Like I started getting into drugs, into alcohol, because I was so depressed, so miserable, so disappointed with this lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, God, I can't. Like, I see everything that I'm doing now is gonna lead me. I'm gonna go to hell, literally. So I'm like, God, that's it. So what I did was I dropped everything. I called up my agencies and I'm like, I'm done, guys. And I was really lucky I didn't get sued or anything. Got out of my contracts, and I moved home and I just started to pursue God, to pursue the heart of God. And it was a really tough year, actually, because for the whole year I was pursuing God. God was completely silent, and He was just breaking me down.
But I thought when you come to Christ, all your problems go away, right?
That's what I thought too. I thought, God, here I am. I come to you. Everything's gonna be ponies and butterflies now. But that's not how it went down. For a whole year, God was completely silent, and I was wondering, God, why? I genuinely want to seek you. I genuinely want to pursue you with my heart. Like, I'm here. I'm open to you. Why aren't you changing me? But the thing I didn't realize was He was changing me. He was at a distance. And
through breaking
me down, just breaking my pride, my arrogance, my boastfulness about myself. Look at me, look who I am. I'm this guy, But it just started breaking me down throughout the year. I couldn't hold a job, and it was really bad. I got even more depressed, actually, and I locked myself in my room, and I just put on my headphones and I'd watch Netflix for 12 hours a day, and I didn't want anyone to bug me. But sincerely, deep down inside my heart, I was like, God, open up yourself to me, reveal yourself, because I have nothing else left, God. You're the only thing I have. And, you know, a year later, he revealed himself to me.
That's amazing to hear, man. Do you ever have like times where you wish you were back in that lifestyle?
You know, honestly, never. I never ever even think about going back because, you know, the things that God is doing in my life right now, it's like, it's amazing. And living that lifestyle, I just felt guilt and shame all the time. You know, I'm drinking, you know, I wake up with a hangover, my head hurts. I was always ashamed, like, man, you know, what am I doing with my life, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, living a life for God right now, walking every day with God, I just, you know, I live shame-free, and it's just the most amazing feeling ever.
That's awesome, bro. What are some of the things that you thought at 15, 16 years old, if you were to go back and give yourself advice, like if you were to mentor the 15, 16-year-old Pasha, like what would you tell him? Like what are some ideas and maybe that you would maybe correct, or I don't know what, like how I can put it in a way that, you know what I mean? Like what advice would you give to yourself at 15, 16 years old?
Honestly, don't go out and chase the material world because, you know, all these so-called pleasures of the world, they're so temporary. And not even so temporary, they're very, very temporary. Like they, even like when you get drunk, like it's for a couple hours and then your head hurts. Like, you know, just seek the heart of God, because real joy, real happiness, real fulfillment, you know, real meaning to your life, real purpose, it all comes when you seek the heart of God and God starts opening himself up to you and he starts changing you, you know. All the addictions you struggle with, they start to go away, and everything that, you know, you go to a rehab center to do, like God can change that in you, you know?
All right, well, what about, obviously we look up to the ultimate role model, which is Jesus, but do you have any other role models or maybe certain things that kind of helped you along the way, maybe certain podcast, books, if not that, maybe a certain person that maybe came into your life and helped you see things differently? Like, do you have any kind of role models or any tools or anything like that you can give?
Yes, actually, I think my dad is just one of my biggest role models, because through the midst of this lifestyle that I lived, you know, he never judged me. He always just prayed for me, and he's always like, you know, Pash, you know, make sure to keep God number one in your life, wherever you go. And I kind of like didn't really listen to that, but everywhere I went, his words always stuck with me, you know, they were deep, and I always, you know, I was always thinking about God because of those words, you know, because the whole world, you know, like sometimes even at church, people would be like, oh, you're such a sinner, you're such a horrible person, you know. And honestly,
I heard that you got excluded from your church.
Yeah, I got excluded from my church.
What happened there? Like,
basically, I made the decision to go into the fashion industry to become a model.
Okay.
And they're like, you know,
self-explanatory.
We can't support that. And they had a right thing to do. You know, those.
They had right intentions.
They had right intentions, of course. So, you know, they had the right to do that.
But that must have been extremely painful.
It wasn't easy for sure. Because then most of my friends, I couldn't, like, they came up to me and they're like, yeah, our parents don't let us talk to you anymore because you're an outcast. So that was kind of tough, but I just kind of stuck through. And, you know, after I quit the industry, I went back to that church and I became a member. And
that's awesome, bro. Well, one last question I want to ask you, and it's kind of a big question.
Questions, actually.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even answer your question.
It's all good. Okay. One question that I want to ask you is this, though. Like, what do you hope people will remember about your life?
Like
100 years from now, right? Like when you're gone, I'm gone. Most people that you know are gone.
Man, what I'd want people to remember about me is just the guy that had the love of Jesus, that, you know, he was selfless, a guy that didn't point to himself but pointed to Jesus, and that was bold enough to go and share the love of God to the world, and not himself, not putting himself, but using himself for a greater good, you know.
Yeah,
definitely that.
Well, that's awesome. Do you want to add anything else?
Add anything else? Not really. No.
All right. Well, this is Pasha, guys, again, and I'm not sure what your dreams and your kind of like your aspirations are, but, you know, not everything that you see online is what it's cracked up to be. You know, actually, do you want to kind of elaborate a little bit on that? Like, you know, what as a model, like, how do you view people on Instagram now? Like, has that changed your view? Because I mean, it seems like they create this fantasy world that everyone wants to be part of, right? And you feel like your dream is to become part of that and be that, but then you realize it's just smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, I mean, from my personal experience, just, what I would put out on my Instagram is just the best highlights, of my life, like when I do like a photo shoot or something.
Yeah.
You never post, you getting drunk and, half the other nasty stuff that comes with it,
Yeah.
And a lot of people in that industry, they really struggle too, from sexual abuse and, it's just really sad, especially the ones that are not really making money, sometimes, they agree to do certain favors for people just to, stay afloat, just to even pay rent. And it's really sad to see how corrupt the industry is. And that's why it's really good to just shine a light on that.
For sure. Well, bro, I really appreciate you as a friend. I really appreciate you for doing this. And I really hope that your story impacts some people that are watching right now or, on podcasts. So thanks a lot, bro.
Yeah.
God bless you, man.
Thank you, man.